Here's the short answer first. West Marches D&D is a sandbox game where the players, and not necessarily the same players every week, decide where to go next. Hi, I'm Skylar, the ADHDM, and I've run over 200 hours of West Marches D&D for my Discord community. I'm currently on my second attempt of something at this scale. Since you're still watching, I'll give you the long answer. The West Marches was popularized by Ben Robbins in the mid-aughts on his blog, which I'll link in the description. His list of qualities that defined a West Marches type game were as follows. There's no weekly time. Every session is scheduled on the fly by the players. There is no regular party. Each game has different players drawn from a pool of however many people. I think his example gives about a dozen. The setting is some kind of frontier, and the players all have a shared objective. Go out and explore. Party composition is irrelevant. In fact, different level adventurers and myriad different classes are encouraged to set out together. And finally, the players are totally in control of what to do and where to go next. I'm obviously advocating it, so what are the benefits of this type of gameplay? Well, from a DM perspective, you prep the world once. And it's a big prep, but once you're done, you're done. The plot and ongoing adventure happen when players from different expeditions share information or swap notes and decide where to go next. What was that door in the red tomb, and why couldn't you open it? I think we're gonna go check it out. As a player, it's a lot of fun to see a dynamic world and know that whatever you do is persistent. If you kill the ogre at the stone gate, then players next week will see the dead ogre, and perhaps whatever horrible scavengers are feasting on the body whenever they go to the same location. Being the first group to discover a certain landmark or uncover a big secret about the world is exhilarating. It creates an ongoing player-spread legend about this new frontier. It also feels really cool to go on an adventure because you heard a rumor from a peer instead of just your DM using a slightly different voice. That said, there are some drawbacks to this style of play too. As I mentioned, West Marches DMs often do all their prep up front. There are other styles of prep where if you get enough advance notice from the players, you can work on whatever chunk of the world they want to explore. But that's a big if. If you've ever tried to do a session 0, you know that advance notice from players is far from a guarantee. And although this kind of all-at-once prep is easier than it sounds, it's still kind of a challenge. That's where the ADHD part of ADHDM comes in handy for me, because I tend to hyper-focus on game prep and knock out a bunch at once anyway, so if I know that this is stuff that might eventually get used, all the more valuable. I will have other videos on prepping for this kind of game, so fret not, intrepid dungeon master. A drawback as a player is that it can feel pretty weird at first if you're used to playing pre-published or your DM's home game, where NPCs tell you where to go and what to do. I hope to have enough actual play edited and uploaded, or stories told from my perspective as a DM to demystify the process and help you understand it before you try it. Just like any game where the bulk of the content is made up by you and your friends, West Marches D&D is going to be wildly different from table to table. For me, the fantasy of the West Marches includes a thriving base of operations, a safe town represented by a Discord channel, a forum thread, or a group text where the players can all speak freely to one another and revel in their ongoing legends. I've expanded this in the past to player-owned shops, player-run factions, and even more. This time around, West Marches for me also means a regular schedule instead of players organizing whenever they want, because I got burned out last time running 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 games a week for players that were always ready to schedule another session. So I'm setting up a weekly slot with occasional extra games when my schedule permits. If you swap out enough core elements of West Marches, it gets real Ship of Theseus really fast, but if any part of what I described sounds like the kind of game you'd like to run, then you should pick it up and run with it. You don't have to make it the untamed wilderness of the West. It can be in any direction, east, north, or south. It could be up in the vast reaches of space. It could be down below in a huge network of unexplored caverns. It could be a parallel dimension, similar to our own, but dark and sinister. I'll be uploading more videos about every part of running a West Marches game, both what has worked for me and what hasn't. So if you want to see those, subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell, read the book, light the candle, and excommunicate yourself from people who are not subscribed to the ADHDM. If you'd like to play in my current West Marches campaign, The Veiled Yonder, then you can join my community Discord by clicking the link in the description. I also have some Patreon subscriber goals so that I can run more games and get some professional art and design for The Veiled Yonder. You can view those at patreon.com/ADHDM. Thank you to my patrons, Adam M, Disaffected NPC, Mitch B, Sam, Jordan C, Shade, Borkware, Shawn S, M, Shawn M, Brittany, Tom H, Amanda M, Jacob F, Sweet Jax, Raspilicious, Robert A, Keller, Senchu 9, and Steamball. Holy smokes, that's a lot of people. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching. Until next time, stay sweet.